Everybody saying, we want the funk. We gotta have that funk. We kick it old school. We think we're so cool. We take it back to the past. We go and act a fool. Enough jumps the middle.
Hello, 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 and welcome to Sports Buzz, the Fanatical View. I am your host, Scott D. Lewis, here in studio, taping a show on a Tuesday, not during our live spot, but we were here Thursday evening, 6:30 to 7, and we are here in celebration mode. At least I am.
Congratulations, Scott.
I don't know if anybody else is down here at Comcast Cable Channel 23. Danbury, Connecticut, a snow-filled studio, downtown Danbury area.
To say the least, snow. Every time we have a show, it snows.
I thought the blizzard was supposed to be last week. We've had like 2 snowstorms since then that were worse, it seemed like, and they haven't even made a big deal out of it. But I digress. Who cares about the weather when you got Super Bowl champions hoisting trophies that you're very pleased about? So let's say hello to my right-hand man, Mr. Bob Roth Jr.
Well, hey, Scott, it was a great Super Bowl.
It was a great Super Bowl.
Right down to the last, about 30 seconds.
For all the hatred that goes towards the Patriots, I think NFL fans should actually, say, you know what? They provide like the most compelling entertainment there can be in Super Bowls. This is the 6th Super Bowl trip for Belichick and Brady-led Patriot teams. All 6 of those Super Bowls have been decided by 4 points or less. I mean, come on. How exciting? What do you want? It's excitement. That's what you NFL fans want. Maybe you want the ending to go a little bit differently than what it did the other night, but, give them credit for giving you some top-flight entertainment and drama as a football fan, as a sports fan, to watch.
I mean, right down to the last play.
And once again, it comes right down to that, and this one was unbelievable. Let's mention Spotlight On, Bob's show, Tuesday nights at 9, Wednesdays at 12. Covers all things local in the area, mostly Whalers, who've been doing a decent amount of losing lately.
Yes, they went on a road trip and they only took 1 out of 3, which is
not playing too well.
Not too
Still
good.
Near the top of the standings, and they'll be in the playoff picture, but they need to get it back together because they're giving up a ton of goals as well.
Well, they only went with 10 guys. So that hurt too.
Short shifts, Bob. Yeah. And also let's mention Mr. Mike Toohey in the control room running things as the director. His show Expose Cinemas, Fridays at 9. Wednesdays at 1. We've also got the full crew tonight. Mr. Mike McFadden in there, and Strange Man, a.k.a. Peter Green.
The only one who isn't here is Connor. Connor couldn't,
That's true. Connor could not be here. I thought he was going to show up and give me a high five. Say, how about those Patriots? I'll catch him next time, I guess. All right, Bob, Super Bowl XLIX, in other words, Super Bowl 49, goes to the New England Patriots, and this really was a classic game. Well, a lot of people are already saying one of the best ever. I just get tired of everybody having to label something the best, the worst, the greatest, the dumbest, the stupidest, the most exciting. It was a great game. You can figure out where it rates among other Super Bowls all you want. I was too deep into it emotionally to be able to give you an honest opinion on whether it's the greatest of all time. But the ending was certainly provided the highlight to end all highlights. There was some symmetry here. As we know, 2007, Patriots trying to complete a perfect season, and that all went up in smoke. The mirage of the desert, David Tyree catch that undid everything.
Thanks to my
New York Football Giants. David Tyree, a player that was never heard from before, never seen from again. And the similar thing was happening in this game. The kid Matthews, no catches in the history of his life.
And Bobbles
coming up with 4 amazing catches in the first half that helped the Seahawks going, and the Patriots were wondering then, what's going on? Another Tyree coming out of nowhere, and he was not the one who made the bobbling catch. That was actually Curse.
Yeah.
And it was curses for the Patriots as the ghost of Arizona's past, the desert, was rising up. I was reaching for the peyote, Bob. I needed to see something else than what I was seeing at that point.
If he only got up and took off, he would have had a.
Hey, well, that was the first of the heads-up play by the undrafted rookie out of Western Alabama Division II school, Malcolm Butler, who made the defensive play to break up that pass on the juggling catch, and he knocked it to the ground, but it didn't hit the ground. It bounced off 5 body parts into the lap of the receiver, setting up the Seahawks at the goal line and potentially the game-winning score.
But
everybody is freaking out, wondering what's going to go on. Should the Patriots call a timeout? Should they conserve time, try to give their offense a chance? I'm screaming, just don't let them score. Don't let them walk in. You're up by 4 points. You've got to stop them and win the game. And that's what they attempted to do, and that's what they did, because Butler comes up with his second great play after knocking the receiver out of bounds on that juggling catch. He has the wherewithal to jump the route on an ill-advised pass play at the goal line, and Pete Carroll is taking a beating. It started right away. Chris Collinsworth wasted no time playing Monday morning quarterback, ripping him for the pass call. I have some thoughts about that myself, but Butler steps in front, jumps the route, makes the interception at the goal line with 20 seconds left in the game, and the Patriots are 28-24 Super Bowl champions once again, 10 years since their last one. This time they win it, they get their 4th, and instead of going 3-3, which doesn't sound as good as 4-2, considering you won your first 3, this was a huge relief for the Patriots, not only to get that 4th for their legacy's sake and because of the close calls they've had in recent past, but also the scrutiny they were under the last 2 weeks with the media, irresponsible to say the least, leaking evidence that was, some of which has already been disproved, irresponsible journalism, and former players, current players, everybody jumping on board.
Of the week.
Everybody jumping on board saying, they were cheaters. There's a history of this, all that nonsense. This was a huge relief, as they openly admitted they were distracted, their emotions were hurt, they were demanding apologies, saying we have done nothing wrong. This is an outrage, the way we are being treated right now. And the NFL did them no favors by dragging this investigation on and letting all these leaked information come out, and much of which has been disproven. As I've said already, we don't have the final result, so I can't say in all certainty what the end result will be. But I did notice on Sunday, early Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday, after 2 weeks of this nonsense, a little story comes out that says only one football, as it turned out, was deflated, not the whole 11 out of 12 that had been reported for 2 weeks by Chris Mortensen. Yeah, how many times has he got something wrong for a headline? Thanks for nothing, Mort report, and you're shoddy reporting. So that little bit of tidbit came out Sunday, which surprisingly NBC did not cover at all. No mention of that during the game, as Chris Collinsworth continued his parade against the Patriots, saying he didn't know if he could trust Brady at all with his interviews he did during the week, even though in his face-to-face interview he said that Brady was adamant about the fact that they did nothing wrong, but he did drum it up during the game. And so it was a huge relief, you could tell, for the Patriots for multiple reasons, getting the Super Bowl and getting it done. And how fitting it was after the ghost rose up on that catch by Kearse that we see here, that the interception took place, because if you remember in that Super Bowl in 2007, Bob, Asante Samuel had a chance to end that game with an interception that went through his hands. This time, the interception did not go through the hands of the defender. And Scrap, like they call him, or Strap as they call him, he's got 2 nicknames, this kid Butler, who only played a total of 199 total plays all season. So he was not a regular. He did not start in the game. He came in to take the place of Arrington, who was getting torched by Matthews in a bad matchup. They rotated Browner over to Matthews for size reasons, and then Butler had to shift into a different position, and he was on the field, only one of 3 secondary players, as they went to their big package, which led to Carroll throwing the ball there. One of the reasons why he did throw the ball there, as he's getting second-guessed. He said the Patriots were in their goal line big package, and we had our small package in with 3 wide receivers set. So we wanted to throw the ball there, look to complete it. If we couldn't get a completion, it's a giveaway down, which we don't mind, because we have 1 timeout left and then 20 seconds to go. We can run on 3rd, call timeout, and run again on 4th if need be. So he was setting himself up for 2 running plays there instead of running on second down, risking the chance of getting stuffed, having to call your timeout,
right.
and then you're forced to pass it twice because you won't be able to run on third down. If you don't get it there, you can't call a timeout, you can't stop the clock, and you're going to have to force yourself into a quick snap if you can line up in enough time to get off a fourth down play and run it again. So he was really setting himself up for two clean with a timeout in between running plays on third and fourth down. They liked what they saw, and it was also worth noting that only once all year long did Marshawn Lynch score a touchdown from the 1 yard line. It is beast mode, and beast mode is a monster, so it's very easy to say that. And I agree with a lot of people who say just run it. Forget about what you did all year. Forget about the timeout. Just win the game right there. Run it and get the touchdown. But if it is stopped, you're faced with a tough situation. He felt confident in that play. He felt confident in his quarterback to make a play. I mean, he's got a Super Bowl winning quarterback in Russell Wilson. And again, they only scored one touchdown from the 1 yard line all season. They failed on the other 4 attempts all year long. So maybe he knows his team a little bit better than everybody else on the outside, Collinsworth included. And then with the Twitter world going, we get to hear Emmitt Smith, Deion Sanders, everybody else within seconds chiming in. The worst call I've ever seen in the history of the Super Bowl. That is the worst thing ever. No analyzation whatsoever. But what do you expect, Bob, from these media guys?
Well, look at the first quarter. There was no score.
0-0.
And then the second quarter, both teams got going.
14-14 at the half.
So that was a best part of the game.
It was crazy. Here's an interesting, as I receive my Strange Man stat of the week, I'll have to try to figure it out as we go.
Okay.
But I'm going to drop a stat on you. In all 6 Super Bowls that Tom Brady and Bill Belichick here have been involved with, the Patriots have scored 0 points in the first quarter of all 6 of those Super Bowls.
That's a stat.
That's a stat right there. And that was 0-0 in the first quarter. Of course, the highlights of that was the interception at the goal line. Terrible, terrible play by Brady. Kept points off the board late in the first corner. They easily could have kicked a field goal there to take a 3-0 lead. Other big play in that was the roughing the kicker penalty that was not called. They called running into the kicker. That would have extended a drive for the Patriots on their opening possession. But it did go 0-0 into the second, and then things really opened up. Like you said, the second quarter was wild as the Patriots get on the board with a touchdown to LaFell, and then the Seahawks get aided by a bad spot. I was surprised Belichick didn't challenge the spot on the first down, a third down play, where they would have been off the field 3 and out. Instead, they get a generous spot. It was clearly short of the first down marker, but they gave him the spot and they didn't review it. And that led to the Seahawks tying the game because they continued that drive. They scored their touchdown 7-7. Then the Patriots go on a great 2-minute drill drive, score a touchdown, beautiful floater in the end zone to Gronkowski to take that 14-7 lead with just like 31 seconds left. You start to feel better. You're not as worried about that interception that Brady threw at that point. You think you're going to go into the locker room up 14-7, at worst 14-10 if the Seahawks can drive maybe for a field goal. Instead, a 5-play, 31-second drive. There was a face mask, I think, added 15 yards to that drive as well. And with 6 seconds left, they're lined up down deep in near their end, and they decide to go for it instead of kicking the field goal right there. And they score the touchdown. Matthews, unbelievable, out of nowhere. He gets a TD. The kid had 4 touchdowns, 109 yards, or four receptions, 109 yards in the touchdown. After the Patriots made the switch, put Brown on him, he was eliminated from the game, which was a big part of it, what took place later on. So that was huge. 14-14 Patriots. I know personally, I felt like they should be up 17-7 at the half, maybe 17-10. But instead, they get the interception and the falling asleep of the defense in the 31-second drill. There was unbelievable. And the Seahawks then have the ball to start the second half. And they come down. And this was another big play, Bob, because in the end, we saw the goal line interception by the Seahawks at the end. We had the goal line interception by Brady at the beginning. So, really, if you look at the whole box score, those two things offset. So then you look at other things that took place in the game. The Patriots were the only ones of the defenses to make a hold for a field goal. They held the Seahawks there as they drove down. They were in the red zone. They had a 3rd and short. They stuffed Marshawn Lynch, which may be another reason what Pete Carroll was thinking at the end of the game there, because the Patriots stuffed him there, and they stuffed him again on a 3rd down in the 4th quarter on a short yardage situation. They stuffed him, held him to a field goal.
Yeah.
So they were able to get 1 hold for a field goal instead of giving up all touchdowns, and the Seahawks were unable to do that as the game continued. So then they're up 17-14, and then things really get dicey for the Patriots as Brady throws another interception.
Yeah, which...
And that was not I didn't think that was a bad play on Brady's part. I thought that was a great play by the linebacker. I mean, he had Gronkowski over the middle. I didn't think that was a terrible play. Obviously, you don't want to throw an interception, but the defense did make a great play.
Right.
Right there to get that interception, and then they score the touchdown, and it's 24-14. And at this point, Bob, you're worried.
I'm thinking to myself, okay, are we setting this up, or is this gonna?
This point, Bob,
things gonna change?
You got to be worried because, and this is the other part of the Super Bowl that you have to also consider. Seahawks had the ball last at the end of the first half.
Right.
Then you've got whatever that was that took place at halftime. Katy Perry, Lenny Kravitz losing all my respect, and Missy, surprise, misdemeanor Elliott stealing the show.
I mean, they could have just. They could have just.
Oh God, that halftime show.
Maybe next year. I wish they would just. Unless they get somebody decent that sings. Get somebody who can.
Maybe somebody slipped them some peyote.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened out there in the desert. But anyways, so then you've got that long halftime show. Then you've got the Seahawks getting the ball first. So in real time, the Patriots offense hasn't touched the ball for 45, 50 minutes.
Right.
They go 3 and out. Then they get an interception. So over the course of about an hour and a half, hour and 15 minutes, they've run only about 5 plays.
Yeah,
So it took them a while to get back in sync. In the 4th quarter, however, they do get back in sync and they get things going. Brady, unbelievable, against the Legion of Boom.
Yeah.
And this after Richard Sherman does the taunting of Darrelle Revis with his 4 fingers up saying 2 and 4, 24 just got burned. Let alone, let's not take into consideration that, Baldwin got that touchdown because the referee tripped Revis, coming over the middle there in the end zone and giving him the wide open. And how about this, Bob? When we talk about the Seahawks, I mean, can we at least, I know the Patriots, everybody likes to hate on the Patriots. They're a bunch of cheaters, this whole bit. They do their thing, whatever. I've said it time and time again, never will you see a Patriot player show anything but respect to the opponent. 2 weeks, we hear loudmouth Richard Sherman talking. We got Marshawn Lynch doing his routine. Who knows what his deal is? And he's grabbing his crotch every time he scores a touchdown. Now we got to see Doug Baldwin, which the NBC cut away from this celebration. It did cost them 15 yards, however. But he pantomimes that the football is a piece of feces, basically, and he drops it in the end zone after scoring the touchdown. I mean, what is that nonsense?
I mean, why can't we just, okay.
But the Patriots are the bad guys.
I mean, I can see taking the ball and slamming it like they do, or something like that's fine.
Spike the ball like Gronkowski, like a man would. Take the ball and spike it on the ground.
But not
all
all
this
these
nonsense. It's a total joke, the Seahawks' behavior, what they're trying to do. And then we saw those fight pictures as well after they realized that they just lost the Super Bowl. They get all in a hissy fit and cause a fight. So in the 4th quarter, let's break this down, Bob. And this is why Brady gets the MVP, because he goes 13 for 15. It's the largest comeback in the history of the Super Bowl in the second half, down 10 points against the Legion of Boom, one of the top defenses of all time, right? They're down 24-14. He brings them back, scores 2 touchdowns, 13 for 15, and he goes 8 for 8 on the final drive, which gets them the go-ahead score to Edelman, who also could have been the MVP. A lot of people were claiming that Butler should get it for the interception at the end. I think it needs to go to somebody who made more than one play, but I wouldn't have been disappointed with that. Edelman, 9 catches, 109 yards, and the touchdown. And the rumor has it he probably got concussed in this game. We know he was dealing with a hip injury, but Brady also spread it around. Gronkowski, 6 catches, 60 yards, a touchdown. Shane Vereen, unsung hero, 11 catches, 64 yards, and also 4 runs and 13 rushing yards. Amendola, 5 catches, 48 yards, and a touchdown. LaFell, I mentioned the TD. He also had 4 catches, 29 yards. So they all got involved. Brady becomes the first quarterback to throw touchdowns to 4 different receivers in a game. And Brady also set multiple records. We know Brady now ties Montana and Bradshaw for 4 titles. He also ties Montana for 3 MVPs in the Super Bowl. Belichick ties Noel for 4 titles. Chuck Noll of Steelers fame, 4 titles, only coaches with 4. Brady and Belichick, only coach and QB combination to go to 6 Super Bowls, and they are 4-2 in those. And how about Robert Kraft? He's got 7 Super Bowl trips. Forget, he was the head man when they went back in '96 and lost to Green Bay. So, you know, a lot of stuff went down. In the game, Brady sets a record for most completions against the vaunted Legion of Boom, 37 completions. That's a record. And he also set a record for completions in a half with 20 in the first half. His 4 TDs brought his combined total in Super Bowls to 13 all time, which is a record. He passed his boyhood idol, Joe Montana, who had 11, and that was the record. Now Brady has that record, 13. He also has the most records for all-time completions, yards, and pass attempts. So Brady holds multiple, if not all, key records now for the Super Bowl.
The Strange Man stat of the week.
Strange Man stat of the week. How come the Seattle Seahawks didn't let Marshawn Lynch try to run the football into the end zone? Give up, because the only reason he showed up was so he didn't get fined. Strange Man comes through with the stat of the week. Marshawn Lynch was there just not to get fined. And if he had scored the touchdown, he would have grabbed his crotch. And he would have gotten fined. That's why they didn't give him the ball. That's why they didn't do it. There's controversies being, you know, the conspiracy theorists are saying that that Pete Carroll wanted his clean cut, pretty boy QB to get the MVP and not the crotch grabbing Marshawn Lynch, who gives nothing but headaches for him. So, you know, it was an unbelievable Super Bowl. It came down to the end. Butler, again, Bob, kid, I mean, this is what this is what we love about sports. Undrafted rookie. You know, he comes into the game to replace Arrington, who couldn't get the matchup they wanted, and he makes the play, the interception at the end. He jumps the route. He said in practice he got it wrong. He wasn't making the play properly, but they did practice it. They knew it was something that Seattle liked to do. He said he also thought that he got a look there from the QB and his direction, so he said he had a feeling it was coming his way on that play, and he was ready for it. The other part of that play that goes a little bit unsung, Brandon Browner pressing at the line to avoid the pick play, which is what the run is. The wide receiver comes off the line, pushes his man back into the other defender. The other defender then can't make the break on the ball or defend it properly, and it's a touchdown. Instead, Browner holds his ground, presses at the line, allows for the opening there, and the kid Butler, quick step, right off the snap, jumps the route, makes the catch, ends the game. Unbelievable. So they do get it done there, and really just crazy. And the other thing, other parts of this game that were interesting, you know, the interception at the beginning of the game by Brady led to an injury to one of the starters in the secondary lane, broke his wrist on a nasty tumble going out of bounds. He was out for the rest of the game. And then also one of their linebackers, Anvil, got injured with a concussion in the second half. He did not return as well. And we mentioned crucial play when they were down 10, driving to get that touchdown to get them within one score. They converted the 3rd and 14, Bob, and on that play, Edelman got rocked. Most people thought he was concussed. They did say he passed concussion protocol on the sideline. They did not bring him into the locker room to take the full test. So that was a little bit shaky right there that they let it go. So that was a huge play right there. Some of the stats in the game: Patriots 8 for 14 on third down, Bob. That was crucial. Seattle was only 3 for 10.
Right.
Total plays: Patriots 72, Seattle 53. Seattle actually outgained them 396 to 377. Patriots rushing attack wasn't good, but I thought it was enough to give them some balance and keep the defense honest. They picked their spots to run the ball, 57 total yards. Lynch was held to only 102 rushing yards. Seattle combined with some scrambles by the QB there with 162. And time of possession, Patriots 33 minutes to 26. So some interesting stats there. And here's one thing, Bob. When it was 24-14, we move into the fourth quarter, all seemed lost.
Right.
Then it happened. The preview for Ted 2, the movie, and Brady throws the perfect spiral in the commercial. And it's celebration time. I said, that's it. The comeback's on. Brady's in Ted 2. We're going to go crazy right here. And the Patriots are going to come back. And they're going to win the Super Bowl. And Brady's going to be the MVP. Yeah. And all those people that hate the Patriots with all their nonsense, all their Deflategate, the perfect symmetry, Spygate to Deflategate. It's all out the window because the Patriots are the champions once again. How about this, Bob?
What?
Since 2002, how many titles do you think the city of Boston got? 9.
9?
Since 1999, UConn's got 4.
Yeah.
You throw in my Viva La Italia, Team Italy in 2006 winning the World Cup. That's 14 titles for me, Bob.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't handle it. I can't handle it. People worry if one of my teams doesn't win one year.
Right.
The Bruins come up short last year. Big deal. How many titles do I need? We love it when we get more, but we got plenty.
Yeah.
It's awesome, Bob. I wish you and the best because I know you guys are great, and I know your Giants have gotten 2.
Yeah.
And you know I pull for your Mets to get back in the mix. I always root for them to get going.
Yeah.
I don't root for the Jets too much.
Just hopefully.
But I got love for everybody, Bob. Why? Because we love everybody. Because we're Super Bowl champions. We're champions all over the place. We got it all going. Thank you to everybody for tuning in. Thank you for everybody coming down.
Hopefully
we'll see you next time. Super Bowl champs.
Yeah. Hold that trophy up. Hey.